Welcome to Inside ITOM Solutions, our dedicated video series where we explain how to monitor and manage various IT systems with ManageEngine's IT solutions. I'm Vishnu, and in this video, I'm going to talk about monitoring processes and services using OpManager. In a previous episode, we talked about monitoring server uptime and key performance metrics with OpManager. If you're interested in checking that out, here's a watch link. Processes and services are programs that play critical roles in your server operations. So it stands to reason that you need to monitor more than just their uptime status. You need visibility into resources they consume as well. OpManager helps you monitor exactly that. As I discussed in the previous video, OpManager has a dedicated tab for servers. Inside this, you can access server snapshot pages to monitor individual server devices. Let's click on the Monitors tab. Here, you have dedicated tabs for each type of monitors. In the last part, we discussed performance monitors. Now, let's take a look at process monitors. As I mentioned, OpManager helps you track the uptime status, but it also provides you with more context with metrics like CPU, memory, and instance count. To review these metrics in detail, all you have to do is click here and you will be taken to the dedicated page. Here, the availability timeline, availability statistics, and outage history of the processes will be shown along with graphs tracking instance count, memory, and CPU. By tracking both the availability of critical processes as well as the resources consumed by them, you can understand performance bottlenecks easier and optimize your server processes better. To add a process monitor, all you have to do is click on Actions and Add Monitor. OpManager lists the active processes from which you can select and add requisite monitors. Now, you have complete visibility into your processor. So how about setting up some alarms? Let's go back to the Process Monitoring tab. Click on the Edit icon to set alarm thresholds for your monitored processes. Thresholds are conditions that you can set up to generate alarms for monitored metrics. Once you set up a threshold, OpManager monitors the metric and check if the condition you set up is violated. If it's violated, you get an alarm. For processes, you can edit things like the path and arguments of the processes and the severity of the alarm that will be generated. You can set up conditions like the monitored metric being equal to, greater than, lesser than, or being not equal to the set threshold value. Ream value is a value that resets the alarm. It indicates that the value of the monitored metric is back to normal. Let me explain with an example. If I set up a CPU threshold for this process at 75% and the ream value at 70%, then whenever this process consumes more than 75% CPU, you get an alarm. However, if this value drops below to the ream value of 70% during subsequent checks, OpManager marks the alarm as all clear. Now, you might be wondering how you can edit the monitoring interval for a process. This is particularly important as you might have critical servers and processes which you have to check at regular intervals. Just as you might have non-critical servers and processes where a longer monitoring interval might work. To set this up, go back, click on the sandwich icon, select Availability Monitoring, and set the monitoring interval. This will define the interval at which OpManager monitors the availability of the device itself, its processes, services, and Windows services. So far, you've seen how OpManager fetches active processes, tracks key performance metrics for each, and generate alarms. Now, what if you want to monitor specific services running in your servers? Let's say you want to be alerted when a specific service running in a particular port of your server goes down. OpManager helps you achieve this with the help of TCP protocol. Let's go to the Services tab. Let's click on the Add Monitor option. You can add specific services along with their port number here. OpManager uses TCP checks to see if the particular service is running or not whenever it monitors the availability of the server. Once the service monitor is added, you can see them listed here along with their port numbers, availability status, and response time. Sometimes, even though a service might be up and running, it could be slowed down due to server issues. You can check this by monitoring response time. To set up alarms for response time, click on the Edit option. Here, you can set up 3 thresholds instead of 1 threshold we saw with process monitors. This allows you to get a grasp of the severity or urgency of an issue when you see the alarm itself. Attention for low-level issues, trouble for more pressing situations, and critical for issues that require immediate attention. Just like before, the ream value is used to reset an alarm back to normal. Now, these thresholds are used to track the response time of the service. You can use these conditions given above to set up alarms for the service outage itself. If OpManager can't reach a service in a particular port of this server, it can also raise an alarm. You can specify the severity of that alarm as well as the number of polls after which OpManager should raise an alarm. For instance, if you set the severity as critical here and the number of polls as 3, it means that if the service is unreachable for 3 consecutive polls, OpManager will raise an alarm with critical severity. Now, you can review past uptime and response time statistics with the help of graphs. Go back and click on the graph icon. Just like with processes, you get a dedicated tab for this particular service. Okay, so OpManager helps you track active processes in your servers as well as services running on specific ports. There's one more capability in OpManager that I would like to discuss. When it comes to Windows services, OpManager has a dedicated monitoring mechanism. You can also set up basic level of automation for troubleshooting Windows service issues. Let's take a look at this. Let's go back and click on the Windows Service Monitors tab. Just like the processes and services, you can see a list of monitored Windows Service monitors. Just like before, you can use the Actions button to add more services to the list of monitors. Now, let's see how you can automate basic troubleshooting for Windows services. Click on the Edit icon. Here, you can set up a basic response for service outages. Just like with normal services, you have an option to create alarms for a certain severity when a certain number of polls fail. But in addition to this, you can also restart the service or the server entirely if the service fails as well. This is particularly helpful for first level troubleshooting actions that can usually fix most service issues. You've seen how you can monitor the processes, services, and Windows services for a server. This is good when you're focused on a single server. But how can you scale this to hundreds of servers that you might be monitoring? This is why OpManager has monitoring templates. These are repositories of all available monitors which can be configured and applied in bulk to multiple devices at the same time. Go back, go to Settings, and under Monitoring Settings, you can find dedicated templates for process monitoring, service monitoring, and Windows service monitoring. Let me show you how these bulk configurations work for service monitoring. Choose Service Monitors. Here, you can see the full list of service monitors, their specifications, and the failure thresholds. You can edit the service outage alarms right here with the edit icon as well. You have an option here to mandate scan during discovery. This ensures that when you discover new devices, if this service is available at its designated port, it will be automatically enabled. You can also see the list of associated devices. This is the current number of devices within which the service is monitored. To associate more devices in bulk, you can choose the Associate button, select the service, and select the devices you want to apply it to. This same bulk functionality is available for processes and Windows services too under their respective sections under Monitoring Settings. This is how you can use OpManager to track all the processes, services, and Windows services in your critical servers with in-depth visibility into their availability and resource usage. Hope this was helpful to you. OpManager can do much more than this with your servers. It can also monitor files, folders, URLs, as well as things like hardware health. Tune in to our next video to learn how you can do this. Meanwhile, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell button to ensure that you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. See you in another video.